You're listening to ArTEEtude, a podcast with artists created and produced by Detlef Schlich, a visual artist and ritual designer, living and loving in West Cork, and best known for his essay about the cause and effect of shamanism, art and digital culture. Working in the field of performance, photography, painting, sound, installations, and film, he will dive and discover with us and a weekly creative guest into the unknown and exciting deep ocean of the creative mind.
This is Detlef Schlich, and today we dive into the deep and unknown, exciting creative ocean of a far more creative mind, a very eclectic open mind, together with Todd Fleischman. Hello, Todd.
How are you doing?
Great, it's great to see you again, and it's really, and dear listener, thank you for listening, us guys, and we had last week already a great conversation, and I'm really happy to have such an eclectic character in this show, because there's a lot to discuss and to philosophize in our lives. We both in our, no, he's still 59. He comes soon. He will arrive soon in the same club like I am already.
Yeah, that's right. Oh man, I'm just as crazy as ever. I'm loving it.
No, it's great, and I think as well, what is great. I mean, I had really so many lovely. I'm so happy to start this podcast in times of COVID, because it's now already in the third year, and I met so many lovely creative people. And what I realize is that my idea, in order to networking and to encourage other creative, in the same way like they encourage me to continue, I just can say, people, if you don't know what you're gonna do anymore as a creative, start doing something like this, So because we live now in the 21st century where things like this are possible, so to stay in connection with creatives all over the world, and it helps to inspire each other. Honestly, I mean, it is not just I'm just not telling it for the sake that people come and listen to it. It is a way.
Most definitely, you can't be afraid, or you try something new. You can do it. I mean, when I got a bass when I was like 16 years old. 2 weeks later, I'm in a band and I'm playing. And
really? So you got your first bass with 16?
Yeah, and it was like I think my mom gave me like $80 to buy it, and I tried to do lessons, and it just didn't work out. So my friend Duff McKagan, Guns N' Roses, he showed me some showed me how to play some notes. And next thing you know, 2 weeks later, they're asking me to play in a band. And I didn't even know how to play. And I picked it up as quickly as possible. But, I mean, that was, basically how I started. Some people are like, God, that's kind of the coolest thing. You didn't even know how to play. And then next thing you know, you're playing music. And really, there were so many people at my high school that were musicians, and like Nick Scott, drummer, and then Tom.
Nick Scott, he was together with you in high school.
Yes, same grade, everything, and so we were all getting these influences. I played football. I was an athlete and stuff, but then the punk rockers, I was drawn to them. Like, you know, a moth to a fire. I mean, so all of a sudden I'm going, wow, I like what they're doing. I didn't like, I liked the energy, but I didn't like, I liked how it was, everyone was fun. It wasn't, you didn't have to be a rich kid to play punk rock music. And because the heavy metal guys that I knew, they were all, you know, rich kids, and their parents bought them all. Yeah. So once they were, I mean, a lot of the heavy metal guys that we knew back in the day, they were like Queen's Reich. They were like rich kids from Bellevue and stuff. And so it was kind of a funny separation. There was a separation of punk rock and heavy metal. And then by the mid to late 80s, that's when we were all combining.
So was it somehow that it was high school based, that all the musicians were more or less on the high school? You see, it's kind of different than as I was in school. We didn't have any band running, you know.
Yes, there was some people were a couple years older that were in our band. Chris Hudding, who's probably played in 15 different bands in his career and stuff. So there was all these influences. And so I have this friend, his name is Anthony Ray. Well, he's Sir Mix-a-Lot. He was a year ahead of me. He's in the same high school.
Yeah.
And then the guys from Pearl Jam, same high school. So Mike McCready, who plays for Pearl Jam, lived 4 houses away from me, on my same street where I grew up.
Yeah.
And so and they were more into some metal, more metal, big hair band than
so they had did they had this clashy as well with long hair and
yeah, exactly.
Uniforms, like
kind of.
Yeah.
So, but the beauty of it is that grunge started because the heavy metal guys were hanging out with the punk rock guys, and it kind of intertwined.
Yes.
Yeah. So we were playing shows together. I mean, I played.
Who organized them? Did you organize the shows by yourself, or?
Yeah, a lot of stuff was organized by the self, or you know, you would just find a way to get in, find out that there's a show going on, find out if we get on the bill. And
did you have? I mean, in our case, it was like in the what was it? Early 80s. We organized ourselves big venues, you know. So with 4 or 5 bands which we are befriended, you know.
Yeah.
And I mean, it was a lot of work because all the insurance stuff and wasn't it? I mean, to create.
Well, it's kind of funny because they had in Seattle, they had all these halls and stuff, because a lot of times we weren't old enough to play.
Battery cards from the factories, no?
Yeah. So we'd get somebody who looked straight enough to say, hey, we want to have a show or something going on. And then they would never have any idea that there was going to be punk rock shows there.
Yeah.
And then we would run around the whole city with flyers and put them on every telephone.
Absolutely. Without Facebook events.
No, I know. So that's how that was our network. And then it was, you know, word of mouth or, you know, and so that's basically how all that stuff would go.
Did you had already a cultural ambassador from the county council in Seattle, probably? We had one.
I mean, we had this guy that was kind of our manager at one time, but otherwise there was really a lot of stuff. I don't know how we did it. It was because there was like the bands that were like cover bands and stuff, and they played all the bars, everything else, but there was no way they were going to let punk rock bands play. Punk rock was not really looked fun,
organized.
Yes, and so, but I mean, a lot of good came from it, and now a lot of people are looking back now at punk rock and giving it the dues that it had. A lot of people thought, oh, these guys can't play, they can't, do tons of scales and all other stuff. It just wasn't. It wasn't like that.
But sir, as you started, I mean, with 16, it's actually, I must say, late as well, isn't it? I mean, because I had a lot of friends and people, they started earlier with 8, with 10 years, So this is great to encourage people, young people. Look, guys, if you're not perfect, just grab your instrument, find a couple of friends, good friends, and then start with it, So I mean, that's how it works.
Yeah, no, and exactly. A lot of people have a perceived thing. They're saying, oh, that these record companies just grab people like big boy or boy band. They go, no, they're friends. People are friends. Well, hey, let's start jamming and see where it goes.
I mean, yeah. And to be honest, I think it's the wrong start if you really think that you start and becoming famous with it, because I think that doesn't really help for your progression, isn't it? I mean, as we started, our band was in the 80s. We called our punk rock band Paradise Peace Pack.
Nice.
And it was Paradise is a mix between Paradise and Paradox.
Yeah.
And Peace Pack was the pack of peace, So even Paradise socks, that means on German, zwei sterbende Strümpfe. Para is two, die is dying, and socks are the socks you wear, So
I think that would have been fabulous. Oh man!
And
what town were you playing in?
I mean, it was a mix between the Who and ZZ Top somehow, So
oh wow,
it was really. And for me, look, I mean, I started later than you, as the front pick, So in my 20s, so my self-esteem, it took quite long, I was fantasizing as a young boy, as a teenager, staying on a stage, but doing this jumping over your own shadow, I never made it up in my 20s, So that was, I was already 22 as I really started, which is as well quite late.
Yeah, well, and one thing, once you get on stage, it's like you're scared, but then you get adrenaline rush.
Yeah.
And then when you have the feedback from the crowd liking it, there's something that a lot of people will never experience in their whole life.
No. It is great though.
Yeah.
It is really great. And
when you're playing your own your own music.
Yeah, and exactly, and it was especially a time we were so not arrogant, but so sure. We didn't want to have a major deal at all, So we had very much the attitude of punkers, of punk rock,
Yeah.
So being independent and just doing that what we want.
This is
So that was our policy,
Yeah, and that was the thing that everybody was talking about. Oh, these guys sold out. Oh, they made money and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And years later, I went to this Green Day concert, and I was like, they're still punk rock. They're still kind of I said I'm happy they made money. I'm happy.
I don't mind.
But there's other purists. Oh no, you can't make money. Like when the Clash made money, they're like, oh,
but you see, in the 20s, you're still in your 20s, you're still wild, and you still you still have the feeling, oh God, I'm so wild, I can't agree to the system, to the establishment, So because if I gotta do that, I lose my spirit.
Yeah, and it does happen. It does. When people decide that their music, I'm making money. This song was a hit, so I need to make more of that. Then you're caught. You're caught into it.
Yeah.
You're not
pressure. First pressure and then depression. So
because then all of a sudden now you're just trying to. It's almost like somebody getting on drugs, where you're getting that first high,
adrenaline
the whole time.
Yeah,
and so to see it, I see it now, but back when we were involved in it, you don't see all the stuff, and I don't think we ever thought about making it big. I wanted to make a record, stuff like that.
Did you make a vinyl record? Yes, you made your record. Still on long player, no? In the 80s.
Yeah. But what happened is we kept on getting record deals, and then our lead singer kept on scaring the record company. We could have been on Sub Pop, could have been on a lot of other. There was even a place called Real Records, I think, in Canada. Plenty of opportunity, but you would have, could have, but it would. And then all of a sudden, boom, the band's done. You're in another band. They're doing other bands.
So you had a very wild lead singer in the Living.
Yeah, he's definitely well, let's say our very first show we're playing, and next thing you know, all these people, he starts some kind of ruckus. The next thing you know, I'm taking my bass and I'm smacking it over the head of somebody and going crazy. But then we got a great write up in the Rocket magazine and stuff, and it was just total mayhem. And then we played this other show at St. Joseph's, and these guys wearing fake leather and they had little mustaches and stuff. We were like, oh, punk rock guys are gonna play here. So it was
like the Sparks.
It was so yes, exactly. And so they're out there and they're like, we're going to beat punk rockers up. Everything else, well, that wasn't happening. So, yeah, it was crazy. And then my friend Duff was talking to him like he was pretending he was French. And so it was outrageous. It's such an outrageous time, but it was hilarious. It was so much fun. It was crazy.
80s, yes.
Yeah. It was like when in 1979 the Clash came, and this was Seattle's version of, I call it let me see, what is that? Now I can't even. I've lost my train of thought. Yeah, well, the Clash came, and then all these people said they went to the concert, but they didn't. There was only I know everybody, all my friends were there and stuff like that, but all these other people said, oh yeah, I was at that show, but they were never there. A lot of people didn't even like punk rock back in the day. So, it was the loudest concert we ever do. It was, God, I'm trying to think of
What is the Clash? The adult version of what could be the Clash? So that's now it's interesting.
What? Oh, the Clash.
Yeah, you mentioned the Clash would be the adult version of some other band.
Oh no, God. Oh,
What could it be? I mean, maybe you come back later to it. So that,
yeah.
If then
I know, but it's just like, yeah. I mean, for me, for influences too, there's a band called DOA from Canada, which I just saw them a couple.
DOA.
Yes.
From the 80s.
Yes. Yep. And this guy named Joey Shithead still
Shithead.
playing. Yes. He's so great. But he's still playing the shows and stuff, and nicest guy on the planet. I mean, just it's so funny how everything is like it's just going and
what's the name of the band? You might send me later the links. DOA afterwards.
Yes.
D like Detlef. O.
Yeah.
Wait
1 second. Hold on. I'm coming back. I'm back. All right.
He's gone.
No, he's back. He is back. Okay.
DOA. Blood-blooded but unbowed. Blue-blooded but unbowed. Okay, so I'll look that up later.
Yeah, it says bloodied but unbowed. And so yeah, this band was very influenced, and it's dead on arrival. And yeah, very
arrival. Oh God!
But it's DOA from Canada.
Arrival. They are from Seattle as well.
No, Canada.
They are from Canada. Yeah, I was wondering.
Yeah.
Because they have
very awesome. Yeah. Oh,
have you heard about Red Rider?
Red Rider?
Yeah, the band.
Yeah,
the Canadian band. I just listened to it again, and I bought this album in the 80s as well. I love them. I really like them.
Yeah, there's so much stuff. I mean, I think it's fabulous. I mean, God. Oh man, I've been going through like a 70s soul thing going on, and then all of a sudden, boom! I'm listening to when I signed you, and I thought of Ireland. So then I thought, oh, Stiff Little Fingers.
Great. Yes.
Are fabulous. And then there's the Undertones, another Irish little punk rock band.
Yes.
As well as Mr. U2. And so there's just a lot of cool.
The Undertones are playing this year here on a festival.
Oh wow, that would be so cool.
In the summer festival, with other bands as well. I mean, who's always playing is what's the name again now? No, they had one hit. The Hot House Flowers. The Hot House Flowers.
Oh yeah. So yeah, there's kind of a little bit of delay, but not too. I don't want to be cutting you off. Yeah, I mean, did you ever listen to any ska bands?
Yeah, sure. Madness specials and all that.
Oh yeah, yeah. So I saw Madness with this band called the Violent Femmes. And
I love the Violent Femmes.
Yeah,
I love them. That one album I was playing it really up and down the whole day, so.
So
down, your love is gone. Down.
Yes, exactly. And so it was like, my mind was like, just blowing out because they would dress up like Hare Krishna at the time. So it was really fun. Oh man, it's great. And I talked with general public too.
Yes. Oh yes. God, if I remember, I mean, I must say, I bought, as I was young, as I was 16, I was working for the public service as a white worker, So, and I was still living at home. That means I got good money and I didn't have to pay any rent at home. So I had a lot of money for buying records. I bought every month at least 10 records, So that was such a luxury thing, to really getting influenced by, like I mentioned already in the first part, by music and by artwork from all over the world, And I think the 80s were great for that. I mean, there was such you could discover such a lot of different stuff. Really different stuff.
Yeah, because I saw Bob Marley 3 times.
I saw him once.
And I loved reggae. I liked ska because I thought, oh God, it's so energetic and stuff like that. And we'd go to this place called Tower Records, and then I'm in there and I'm going, oh wow, okay, they're playing something cool, and then I want to buy that. And they used to have they called them $2 concerts at the Paramount, and this was in downtown Seattle. And so I saw Blondie, Elvis Costello, XTC, the Police, REM, just all these different bands that
same here. We had in Cologne, we had the Luxor, and the Luxor was a venue with for 200 people or so, and all the unknown bands like John Hyatt, Lenny Kravitz, Prince, U2, the Bangles, Melissa Etheridge, I was due to the fact that I was the one who bought all these records and who knew already the insider things. So I saw them all, and
and that's so much fun. Like I saw Nina Hawkins, and I was like, she's crazy. And I was like, oh man, it was so great. It was like awesome. And
I can imagine that.
Yeah, so you go. I didn't let anything like limit on what I would want to see or this.
I can't imagine that. She was very wild. She was the first one who gave herself an orgasm on a live TV show. She masturbated live. So I mean,
that's crazy. I saw the Pretenders and there was this band called the Blasters that were very good. Yes. Well, because like we saw X. Have you heard of X, right?
X.
LA. Yeah.
No.
LA. So X is a really amazing, definitely an LA punk rock band. Saw this band called Fear, which was I saw them with the Dickies and 999, and 999 was just awesome.
They were great, yes.
Yeah. So I mean, it's just crazy. I mean, you probably seen like Rammstein,
yeah. I mean, they're still very famous here, but this is not really so my cup of tea. I don't know. It is. I don't know. I couldn't picture myself in a concert of them. It is.
No, I never heard it. I never saw them, but I've heard some stories about it. But yeah, there's some stuff that I just.
I mean, it's a quite slick show what they're gonna do for sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Like or Rage Against the Machine, I would have liked to see them.
I mean, Rage Against the Machine was still. I mean, I used to be DJ as well, and Rage Against the Machine was still one song was a party cracker. So it was.
Yeah. I mean, because there's some bands that had some underlying messages that were, about the social problems.
They were quite strong. I mean, Rage they were very. The punk attitude was very high, I would say.
Yeah.
So
but it's like in Seattle, Soundgarden, Alice in Chains and stuff. A lot of stuff wasn't my deal.
Wasn't it?
Then now, but now I really appreciate everything. I appreciate that. I love their stuff.
So what was it in the 80s? Was it too hard or what?
No, it was because I was like really influenced by a lot of more I would say British or European punk rock music and stuff like that. Generation X, and stuff like that. So I really like the stuff. I don't know, for some reason I was drawn to a lot of stuff that were played in Europe more than America. So
you listen.
So that was, and then there was the thing of, at the time, the metal guys were kind of looking down at the punk rock guys. We're terrible. We're not good musicians. Blah blah blah. And so it was kind of, I didn't appreciate him that much. But now, I look back and there's always a band rivalry kind of deal when you were younger. Oh, we're gonna take the stage. We're gonna just knock everybody down. And now we just look back. I mean, I even watched interviews with like Metallica and all that stuff, and they're going, "Oh yeah, want to kill the other bands," and then now we we're happy that we're appreciated by our fans, and I think that's the give and take that I see from musicians today. That the ones who last, who are still relevant, are giving back to their fans. If you're to your fans, you're not going to have fans very long.
Sure. It is.
It's a give and take.
It's what I would say. It's always just a give and take, isn't it? So that's the way. That's great, Todd. I just see we're almost at the end already on our second episode. Time flies.
I know. I'm all over the place.
No, it's great. Look, it's great, and I love it because it is there is as well a lot of philosophical stuff in it, and I think even younger listeners they can get a clue where we coming from the 80s, or where the influence of music is coming from as well, which is it's very abstract and very complex to understand that, for me as well,
Yeah,
and
exactly.
If you're going back, and even if you're going back down to classics, or even if you go back to classics like Wagner, for instance, who was one of the biggest managed music management persons, immersive, with slideshow, with everything. I mean, unbelievable.
Well, you got to look at if you go that far back. I go, Mozart was a punk rock. Beethoven, totally. These guys were amazing.
They cracked it, absolutely.
And when you're writing music for not just bass, guitar, and drums. You're doing everybody. You're doing bassoon over there, and how they got all that to sound amazing.
I mean,
genius.
I just watched how they made Smoke on the Water. Do 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 do. Actually it is stolen by Beethoven. It's do 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 do.
Yeah, exactly.
I put some imagery in that, do 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 do.
And until you look at all that, and it's just amazing. I mean, how one riff or something subliminal, like George Harrison hears something, and then all of a sudden he's writing My Sweet Lord. But they go, "Oh, that's this other song over here." So
no wonder that we coming from all over the place, Todd.
I know, and Well, I can tell you before I'm on the outside floating around.
That's the only way. I mean, me too. Sometimes I have to ground myself then again, and then have to breathe deeply, and then I can come closer to myself and landing again.
Exactly. And when you touched about COVID, right? So I did a reset of my whole being on. And so other people are freaking out, right? I'm not freaking.
No, me neither. Okay, so I was happy to work on my stuff, So that was
So I had tired, and I was well rested, and I cleaned my whole house, and I just I went, okay, I'm not letting any of the negative stuff come in. I'm like,
but they throw us out in 2 minutes. I would say we gonna go to first of all, I would say, so dear listeners, you can follow us on Facebook. Todd Fleischman is on Facebook. If you have questions, or come to the Facebook group I Love West Cork Artists, where it's a lively group where everyone is more than welcome to discuss art and music and whatever, and we're discussing there as well. Or you're gonna come to our Instagram. Is it at Todd Fleischman at Instagram as well?
Yes. They'll be able to find.
Yeah, I will put that all in my subscriptions and links and all that. You can take it from there. As well, you can go to at Schlich, or at I Love West Cork Artists, or at ArTEEtude, or because Todd is now as well in the Hall of ArTEEtude, and but you can't buy the mug because my PayPal system doesn't work. But it is. I mean, Todd is now in my Hall of ArTEEtude, so welcome there, and you can go to www.arteetude.com, and there you find all my other artwork, or you can go to the podcast there as well. So all over the digital online world, you will find us from now on, which is great. And
we are in the matrix.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I would say, and you can watch this episode as well on YouTube next week. So I would say, we're gonna listen to the second song, because we had already one in the first episode from Todd's band, the Living, and a band which influenced quite far much, for instance, Pearl Jam and probably grunge in general. So listen to it, and maybe you can research on your own, and you find out more things. It is Two Generation Stands, and it fits as well to the subject. So, dear listeners, take care and have a lovely day. Thank you very much for listening. Two Generation Stands. Bye bye.
Bye bye.
Todd, thank you for having you. Bye.
You're welcome.
Oh And another thing is the punk movement, like a lot of the movements, talk about tying all this stuff together, happens with youth. And because it happens with youth, these kids grow up. And by the time they hit 30 years old, they don't want to be angry anymore for any number of reasons. And you can't be angry all of your life. You can't rebel against something all of your life, otherwise it's going to be self-destructive.
You have listened to ArTEEtude, West Cork's first art, fashion and design podcast. ArTEEtude, never so close again. That was too close.